What?
He's already been elected as president, and I was
What?
wondering when that's going to happen. And then number two is, as a vendor, 2020, I sell a variety of military caps. And I have a couple of caps to make extra money to pay my bills. And some gentleman came by, this was in 2020, and told me that that hat is a political thing, and that I wasn't allowed to have it here in the VA. My question to you is, why did they have me remove a cap that wasn't bothering nobody? He was the president, and he had his picture on the wall. They refused to have me sell that cap to our veterans. And I don't think that is political at all. I think it's another means to generate money for me, as well as people that like their hat, buy it. And I don't think it's right that our president in 2020, and they told me to remove my caps of Trump. And look, I just want our freedom. I want to let freedom ring. What's going on behind the scenes is heaven, and we need to fix the problem. So my question to you, are you going to allow me to sell Trump caps in a VA facility, period?
Well, okay, so there are three questions actually. So can I start with the first one?
No rush.
Let me start with the first one, which are the presidential portrait and the portrait of the secretary. Is that correct? So what typically happens with every transition, we are required on the day of inauguration to remove the portrait of the exiting president and the exiting secretary. And then on that day, it's typically when the president leaves the Capitol and as the inauguration stage, and as they head to the Capitol for the luncheon, they actually stop and take either the presidential portrait or an interim portrait, and then those get produced. Or they wait until a week or so after and they take that portrait and it gets produced. President Trump has not taken his portrait for us to have it produced and then it distributed to all federal facilities. So you don't see a portrait of him at any federal facility right now. And until we get his official portrait, we don't have one to post. And we are not allowed to print anything off the internet, make one ourselves, do a hand drawing, a cartoon, because that's inappropriate. So when we get his official portrait, it will go right up on there. And when we receive his official portrait is the same day that we can post the official portrait of the secretary. They go up in tandem. And so in the interim, we were instructed that we could put those placeholders that say we are awaiting the arrival. And that's why those are there. And you will see that at every transition. There is nothing going on that is specific to this transition or any other. It happens every 4 years. Okay? You're very welcome. I've been with VA 30 years now, so I will tell you it happens every time. There are some that happen faster than others, and then some that take a while. I will say in the 2020 transition, that was probably one of the longest ones. We don't know why, but he took quite a while before he got his official portrait. And so your second question about being able to sell caps in 2020. So in 2020, when you said you wanted to sell a cap, I wasn't here in 2020, so I'm not sure what was shared at that time, and so I don't want to speculate. What I will say is today, I am not allowed to let anyone, let alone you, have any items that are political campaign slogans or that promote one campaign or party over another. So if you have a shirt, a hat, a jacket, or an item that does not have a slogan, a campaign party, a political party, or that promotes a campaign, you are welcome to sell that item here on campus. But if the item that you have fits into one of those categories, we'll need to have a conversation about that item and determine whether or not it violates what is called the Hatch Act. And if we have a question about my interpretation or any of the staff's interpretation, what we can do is consult our Office of General Counsel, and together we can make that determination. Okay?
Yeah, just real quick, he is the president, he was elected, so in saying that that's not a political act, that's a hat that we have the president will be on our poster right here in this VA facility. So I don't think it has any conflict with political slash political disruption. So is that a yes or a no that I can sell military?
So we'll have to look at the cap and take a look at it. I'm gonna do that. Look at the cap.
Get the cap?
We'll take a look at the cap. I can't tell, I haven't seen it, sir. We'll take a look at
Like
it.
this, Trump on it, that's it. Thank you.
We'll look at it. I'm happy to take a look at it.
No problem.
Yes, sir. And I'll take, this will be the last one with all of us, and then we'll do individual ones, and then everyone can have a lovely
I'll
evening.
try to make it quick. but
Okay,
I have like 4 questions. But
Woo!
I only got 2 to left.
okay,
But
two of us.
I have a feeling they won't be answered, at least one of them. That has to do with the CBO and the kind of things that they're trying to do or what they're saying. Now, I don't know if it's fact or not, but I'm 100% IU, which is unemployable. So I'm 80/20, and I'm getting 100% like anybody else does. And what this note said to me, and I've been having notes sent to me from other people, that anybody, IU that's over 67, they're gonna probably cut their IU out. Now, I mentioned that to Leslie, but I don't think, that this is not happening right now, that these things are coming out. People are putting things out, how many of these are true, I don't know. But that's something I worry about, because I am IU, and I've been trying to get 100% physical, because I have a lot of other physical problems, but the VA has not been able to recognize them. I have claims in there, they want evidence and stuff. I had injuries from Vietnam, but you can't see them because they're internal, right? I didn't bleed either, but I got my ass knocked around a lot of times. And I have all that, I have a bad spine, and they won't do anything about it, but maybe give a shot to kill the pain. But anyway, going on with that, another one is, this is a little bit of a complaint. I was at the dentist, just the other day, and I've been willing to go with the trainees because it takes too long to get an appointment. You know, I like to get my teeth cleaned every 6 months. That doesn't happen. This is not, people there. And anyway, so I went with them. They said it takes 2 hours because you're going to the training. This is fine. Okay, by 2 hours was up, and I just needed to see the doctor. It's gonna say, okay, everything's okay. I waited for an hour. The doctor never came. And I finally told him, I said, they kept coming. She's on her way. She's on her way. She's on her way. Never showed up. So I can't stay any longer, so I'm gonna leave. So the girl there told me, go ahead and leave. But the problem, and I didn't wanna make an issue with that because it's not their fault, right? The fault is that we don't have enough employees, like we got a work freeze going on, and yet we don't have enough people doing the work. And that's the result of me waiting an hour and nobody even showed up. So, and that's something we probably could look at. I mean, it's not gonna do any good for me to discuss it with you anymore, because it's probably nothing we can do here right now anyway. You have to know. And I don't have anybody's names, that were there and doing the work, as I say. Even if I did, I wouldn't tell them, because it's not their fault. They're doing as best they can. But we need to make sure that we have enough people to take care of our health problems. And if we don't have enough people to do that, we're just hanging out there. I have mental problems here too. I've been taken care of very well, but I've got damage in my brain. They can't say that it was in Vietnam. Okay, but I don't know where else I would have had a traumatic event. That's the only place I know. But and that's plain wise. So, that's just
Fair building?
Yeah, the Fair Building and, you know, and the homeless at Denver too, right? Nobody said anything about that being torn down, where they're gonna be, because homeless people are still coming in. Yeah, so anyway, the thing is, also, I talked to Mr. Danberg about this morning, about that, okay? He actually went out to the site where they said they're supposedly gonna put it, which is, what was the Children's Center, right? You know what it is. But so like, he went out there to look at it, and was telling them, homeless people don't wanna be caged in, okay, that's why they're homeless law. They don't wanna be caged in. If you put them in where they said they're gonna put them, it's like 15 feet in a big wall, and they can't see out beyond it. And it's the building there, so they're not gonna like that. I know that for a fact, because I go through here all the time, and we help them out there. So Mr. Danberg said he understood what I was talking about. The only thing he says, it's not on the budget for any of this that's going on, but he said he would try to find out if there's something they could do. But Matthew's not right now, so I can't talk to him, but he knows about what I talked about. So if anybody can address that right now, it's fine, but I don't know if we can wait for Mr. Danberg to get back. And maybe we can talk about it again.
Oh, no, so there's several things that you mentioned there, and, let me see if I caught all of it. So the comments you made about your disability claims, unfortunately, our representative from VBA, but, he did ask that we, get your information, or anyone's information that had questions about their VBA claims, and that we can connect individuals with him, and they'll have individuals, VBA reps contact you to talk about your specific claim. So we'll get you connected to have someone talk to you a little bit more about what's going on and why you aren't getting, having the conversations about your current claim and your percentage and why it's not changing, even with the information that you're sharing, to have those conversations. With respect to the time that you had to wait additionally after your appointment, I have to leave with an apology, and it is not our intent for you to have had to have waited after your appointment for such an extended amount of time. We would have liked for you to have been able to see someone and to go on with your day. We understand that your time is important, and we want you to come here and be seen and to be valued when you're here. We are working very hard to expand the number of providers that we have on campus, and you'll find that the chief of staff and our nurse execs are really looking at our staffing numbers to determine what is the right mix of staff to have, so that we can avoid having the incident that you had and having the right mix of providers. So we may not need to have more dentists, maybe we need to have more dental hygienists, maybe we need to have more dental assistants. I don't know what the right mix is right now, but that's what they're exploring, and I know that they're committed to looking at that, and we are talking about that bi-weekly in what we call a position management committee, and that they are regularly approving the hiring of additional staff in those areas. And dental is one of those areas that we are consistently looking at, because the number of veterans that are being approved for dental services is expanding, especially with the PACT Act. And so not only are we increasing the dental services on campus, we are increasing, and I am smiling, we are increasing the dental services out in the community, because we can't keep up with the number of veterans that are requesting dental services on campus. So you, unfortunately, are in the middle of that perfect storm, but we are doing our best to try and catch up. So if we have not caught up right now, I can assure you that we are doing our best to catch up. And that is something that I can't promise you tomorrow it will be different, but we are doing our best to try and catch up in the next couple months, if not by the end of the year. That has been the commitment of our clinical teams. So that is something we're working on. And then the last comment you made about the peer center, I think is a really valid one. And while we may not be able to choose a different location for the peer center, it would be something that I would ask Doria and the team to look at. What are the things that we can do to that building to modify it, locally, that might aesthetically change it to give that open aesthetic, that idea of being able to have the access that doesn't give that closed-in feeling that you're talking about, and that we may be able to control it locally. I don't know, but it might be a conversation that we can have with you or peers of individuals who might have ideas and thoughts. And I appreciate you raising that. I'm guessing you have had this conversation with Walt when he was here. And he's not here, but it doesn't mean he can't talk to me. I make jokes, but I'm pretty serious about the job that I have, and I would be happy to have a conversation.
I did have a suggestion for him. The suggestion was, you've got like a 6-foot wall up here that covers both things.
Yeah, that knee wall that's around you.
And what I suggested, you don't have to take that whole wall out, because I know they're only getting half of that place, supposedly, that's what they told me. That wall in front of the place, the area they're gonna have, either take that wall out, or if it's too much money to take it out, cut it in half, so they can see out. Because there's a nice looking area out there, a free area out there, that they would love, and that's what they have up here now. They can sit at their tables, and it's wide open, and they're comfortable. But if you put them behind the wall, it's just like, sitting in the prisons.
You're right, there are probably many creative ideas that we can do in that space, and I'm going to ask that Dorian and the team think about this, think a little out of the box of what we can do in that space. You're gonna take that for advisement?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It is 7:30.